Now, I know you asked what my top 10 fictional crushes are. So, here are my top 5 crushes in video games. That's the same thing, right? Trust me, readers, I knew my original video on character crushes was way overdue for a revamp once I noticed that everyone started flocking over to it after they were done watching my video that I made on The Shape of Water. The only reason why I waited so long to do something about it is because for the longest time, I didn't know how to properly approach it. I wanted to be classy about it, you know? I wanted to go about it in a way that didn't just sound like y'all were yelling at me, "Tell us who you want to smooch!" and other things. But it turns out that's exactly what you wanted. One of the questions I got for my 20K subscriber Q&A video was what were my top 10 fictional crushes. And I have to be honest with you, I have a lot of crushes throughout a lot of mediums. So to just pick 10 throughout all of them, I believe would just be unfair. So instead, I decided to do them justice and list the all-time crushes I do have according to the medium that they belong in. And since the majority of the crushes I do have come from this medium in the first place, I figured I'd start off this potential series with the top 5 character crushes I developed in video games. Get it? Video games developed. Video game development. If you think I'm running up the time so I can make sure that this video is over 10 minutes long, you are absolutely correct. So I'm going to start with my number 5 and just work my way up to my number 1, which I am absolutely sure you all know by now who my number 1 is considering the category. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start with my number 5, Iron Bull. When they first showed off Iron Bull in Dragon Age Inquisition and announced that he was romanceable, I was like, oh. Okay. Then I found out he's available to be romanced by both men and women, and I immediately went, oh. Oh, so what you're saying is that it's time. Because to me, Iron Bull was a step in the right direction that I wanted BioWare to take Dragon Age romance-wise. Specifically when it came to the range of their queer party NPCs in comparison to the franchise's queer fanbase. When it comes to writing characters, there's more to queer dudes who identify as dudes than just the stereotypical pretty boy that TV and boy love anime/manga like to present. There has to be a range because that range exists in real life. Like, it isn't fair to continue to present characters like Zevran and Dorian out into the fray when characters like Gibraltar from Apex Legends deserve just as much exposure and could relate to others just as much as they can. Not saying that Zevran and Dorian aren't complex and interesting in their own right, but they just didn't represent what I wanted when it came to queer characters in video games. And I'm not gonna lie, Iron Bull wasn't completely there either. Part of his dialogue when you first start romancing him sounds like it came from a cheesy ass porno. You wanna ride the bull? Really, dude? I've been complimenting and hitting on you for months. You just turned Talvish off last night, and you finally realize that I'm digging you, and your opening line is, "You wanna ride the bull?" If that's the case, then I'll just take the unsolicited dick pic traditionally followed by the word wolf over that. Also, not really into BDSM because no. I mean, I'm not that vanilla. I have my own kinks and stuff, but I'll leave the whips and chains to Rihanna. But what attracts me to Iron Bull is that when he loves you, He loves you, and he doesn't want you to be ashamed of or secret about it. That leads to some pretty heartfelt dialogue both in the main game and the DLC later on down the line that always brings a smile to my face because it feels so genuine. In my opinion, all the other romance options are pretty boring in comparison, to the point where Iron Bull is pretty much my canon romance in Inquisition. Dragon Age 2's Isabella, on the other hand, it's a bit more complex with me. Off the bat, there's already a lot that I like about Isabella. She has the looks of Disney's Esmeralda from Hunchback as well as the spunk. A personality similar to that of Selena Kyle, but not quite mirroring it entirely. Basically, it's like Spike Spiegel said in the Cowboy Bebop movie.
I love the kind of woman that can kick my ass.
I said what I said about the Selena mirror because, kinda like Selena, Isabella has a more vulnerable bit about herself that she hides behind her badass personality that, despite the fear of being hurt because of it, she slowly starts to show you as Hawk, whether you're male or female. But unfortunately, I never really got a chance to explore the level of vulnerability that she hides, because I give her to the Kunari every time. Even when I'm playing a non-canonical run of Dragon Age 2 with the intention of properly romancing her, I always choke up and give Isabella to the Kunari when she returns the book because I'm just so used to playing my Mage Hawk as a specific way to the point where it's second nature. Maybe one day I'll buy another 360 and replay it to see that arc through. So when it comes to Thrall from Warcraft, I do have to admit that my attraction to him is all aesthetic. That's because I haven't played any of the original games, and I've only played an hour or so's worth of vanilla WoW because it was free. The most I've consumed of Warcraft was the movie directed by David Bowie's son, Duncan Jones, which I was surprisingly able to coherently follow considering I knew damn near nothing of the lore. But yeah, Thrall, specifically how he looks in the Cataclysm expansion was just... he's just hot. I remember seeing him in the game footage of the Gil Grumps miniseries that the Game Grumps made once upon a time as an NPC that gave quests, and I legit just started looking up images and getting small summaries of his story from there on out. As a matter of fact, seeing this version of Thrall on Gil Grumps also made me interested in playing WoW for as long as I did. So yeah, there's no real story as to why I'm crushing on Thrall. I just find him sexy. The end. Can't say the same about my top two, though. Morrigan. Morrigan. Why is our sun white? Sorry, that bit of Inquisition still doesn't make sense to me. Morrigan is awesome. She's witty, no-nonsensical, and her giggle. Jesus, Joan of Andraste Christ, her giggle. Like Isabella, she has that Selena Kyle aesthetic when it comes to her personality as far as being a badass. And because of her history with her mother Flemeth, you can tell that she has guards in place, and that the feelings she develops for you once the relationship starts are both new and scary for her. Now, I do admit, the fact that she can only be romanced by a man in Origins makes the arc choices for her romance sound very in this day and age. Especially when there are plenty of other stories that go the whole love is weird and I don't know if I like this angle a lot better than how Origins handled it with Morrigan. Part of why I'm willing to give it a pass is because it was definitely a learning process, and BioWare has clearly gotten better when it comes to handling tropes like that. At least in Dragon Age. I can't say the same for Mass Effect. Because I've only played the first game. Calm down, people. Now then, the moment you all knew was coming. Let me tell you why I'm in love with Winston from Overwatch. His origin video, which I believe was one of the first character origin videos to come out for the video game, immediately had me smitten. Seeing how he was as a baby, how he got his glasses, seeing how he acts and reacts in times of crisis, all that was enough to just immediately start me feeling a certain type of way about him. And then there's the opening cinematic of the actual game. He just pushed all the right buttons for me. A huge dork, an adorable / goofy ass laugh. And then finally, the smolder he gives when he takes off his glasses, I just... So yeah, those are my top 5 video game crushes. And now you can clearly see why I am the certified mess that I currently am. But I'm curious, readers. So your homework assignment for the day is to write in the comment section below what some of your video game crushes are. And who knows, maybe if this video does well, I'll do a character crush video on comics or something. We'll see how long I can stretch this out. If you want to help financially support the channel, you can join my Patreon by clicking the card at the end of the video or in the link in the description down below, where you can also find a link to my merchandise store. Or if you prefer to give a one-time donation, you can find links to my PayPal and my Ko-fi account in the description box as well. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and every other Friday. But until then, this is Readus 101. Class dismissed.